Aidan, thanks for taking some time to talk to me about your experience at the Patient and Family Advisory Council. We got to work together almost for 18 months, which was pretty exciting. I'm Bentley. My pronouns are they, them. I'm the Senior Program Manager for the Trans Health Initiative, which sits within the Institute for Human Caring and works on education for caregivers at Providence.
Thanks, Bentley. My name's Aidan Key. I use he and him pronouns. I do a lot of work in the area of gender advocacy and families who have trans, non-binary, and other gender diverse children in their lives, and doing work for an organization called Gender Diversity, doing trainings in K through 12 schools and in workplaces and medical, mental health care providers, any areas essentially where people want to learn more. So that's a little bit about me.
We convened the Patient and Family Advisory Council back in 2022, and you were part of the original cohort that came on and started working on that. I'd love to know a little bit about, what brought you to the PFAC.
Well, I came to the advisory team on Providence via a parent who's part of our parent support groups, who was integral in Providence and suggested submitting an application to be considered to be one of the members. So that's how I came in.
I really enjoyed working with you on the PFAC because of your experience, sharing stories in that educational setting and, your work that has focused so much on the thing that we were really trying to accomplish. I'd love to hear more about your experience on the PFAC and what it was like working on that education.
Number one, the fact that Providence is making proactive steps is really powerful, really meaningful. And I love that proactive approach. Oftentimes, I'm being called in by people who are being more reactive to situations that are showing up. And so that piece was really an inviting element for me. Another piece that was pretty amazing was all the people that you pulled together. The team came from very diverse array of experiences and perspectives, and we're wanting to share that. And we had a strong desire to be helpful in whatever way, to be part of making change in the world. And we didn't agree on everything. We had differences in even nuancing language. It mattered in some circumstances. A single word for someone else not so familiar with our communities, it might not seem as important. So it was really wonderful to do that in a really cooperative way, not a contentious way. Everyone had an opportunity to give input and to describe why they might lean a certain way in terms of what they were suggesting. Many people were understandably sharing either personal experiences or indirect experiences that were really wonderful to have that be part of the process. Right. And I've done work with respect to gender education for over 25 years. I'm busy learning every single step of the way myself. And what I try to remind myself on any given day, including the engagement with the committee members and the bigger purpose of that committee engagement, is we're all learning. We're all at various stages of the journey. And so can we be compassionate towards people who might be just starting their pathways? How do we balance the needs of gender diverse people that really would benefit from the deep dive? What if we don't have time to do the deep dive in the available time allotted? What if we have just 30 minutes? How do we start to move the needle forward, and balancing those and not assigning blame particularly to any individual or even any system, because to me a system is comprised of humans who are capable of changing it. Where can we take bigger steps? Where do we have to start with some smaller steps until we figure out the next way to go about it?
You and another person in our group had a really great way of grounding some of our conversations around, what do I want my caregiver to know when I'm walking into that patient room? And what are the immediate needs of that exchange? And how can we keep coming back to, absolutely, there's so many different aspects around the experience of being a transgender patient. But if I want to ensure that I'm getting cared well for in this exchange, what are the top things that caregiver would need to know? And I just found that really helpful to keep coming back to, especially with our time limitations, because of course our main goal is to improve the way our patients experience care.
Right. It seems so simple and so straightforward, but there's an intake form that I need to complete, and I can deliver some information in advance that communicates to that provider a little bit about my gender history. that information is going to the person I will be speaking with. If I come in, I check the box that says, well, yes, I've had a hysterectomy. That person doesn't have to think I'm ignorant. They can just say, oh, perhaps he's had a hysterectomy. And I did have that experience happen. I filled out a form and the provider just decided that I was ignorant. That was his word that he shared with me directly. Oh, I just assumed you were ignorant. He shared that at the end of the appointment with him, where he treated me contemptuously, and I didn't know why. I did find out why. I refrained from saying, I wonder who the ignorant person is in this room, because it wasn't going to help the situation at all. But if he'd understood that a couple of changes to his own intake process could give him accurate information, and that indeed someone that looks like me might have had a hysterectomy, then we're on our way to him getting back to addressing why I still have such strong headaches after a car accident.
Aidan, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me. It was just such a pleasure, and it's been such a pleasure working with you on the PFAC. So thank you for everything.
Well, thank you, Bentley. I enjoyed my time immensely and loved being part of the process and be part of that change in any way at all that I can that would be helpful. So count me in.